Hi guys, this is going to be an interesting video. I'm excited about this because this is one of the moments or period in my career that I am pretty proud of in terms of what I was able to do with working with my team, what we were able to accomplish. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how we went from $0 to $1 million in 18 months, and I hope quite confident that you will be able to, you would get one or two things that you can, one or two lessons that you might be able to learn, hopefully. At least I'd like to think that. So let's get straight into it. I'm not about to take too much of your time in this one. So a quick backstory. At the time, we had started a new agency, a new digital marketing agency. Myself and my two other partners had left the previous agency we were at and moved to start this new agency. Now, we started in the first year, we turned a profit, which was exciting. I mean, I think it's a rare thing for you to find a business to start and in the first year you turn a profit. So we're very excited about it. But in the back of our minds, or personally, at least for me, I was quite sure that this first year profit was a fluke, right? Because I felt like it's unusual. So, but I mean, then again, what started to happen was by the second year, I think we started to face reality in terms of the real challenges of building a business. And one of the things that we started to see was that the company started to struggle. Obviously, in building the team, there was a lot more overheads, and a bunch of other things. The companies were struggling, and I think at some point we kind of decided that we wanted to start to look at other streams or other business units. But I'm not going to bore you about that. But the point was, by the third year, we had already done 2 years back to back, making losses, and I then took over as managing partner. Up until this time, I was a director on the company, but now I then took over as managing partner. What was more interesting about taking over was also that this was about the time that I was also going through a new life stage. I think I'd just gotten married, or I was about to start having kids, something like that. So it made it even a lot more difficult. Imagine that you started a new company, the company is struggling, making losses. You are growing in life stages in the way that I described just now. So it was quite challenging. To top it off was that we weren't even getting like pitch invitations. We weren't getting pitch invitations. Is rent, what we needed to pay rent, salaries, and so on. Personally, it was pretty tough for me because I mean I was taking over as managing partner. The company was still struggling. I had my own personal expense as well, as you can imagine. So it was really, 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 really tough times. Um, and we tried everything. And I remember that particular year was a World Cup year. So besides the classic way we had reached out to clients to try to bring in clients into the business, we had also started to look for like bespoke projects that we could put together. And one of those was World Cup because we felt like the World Cup is a big property, and brands might be looking for ways that they could leverage the World Cup. Bearing in mind the naming rights and all of those other things that come with trying to do things like that. So put together a World Cup proposal, shopped it at almost every brand in my market. Met with almost every CMO or marketing director I could think of. We also got a marketing tech solution that we were also shopping around. We had a product and content studio again, and we're still doing our classic cold outreach. So we tried everything, and we just kept moving forward. You just kept pushing. Again, very tough times. Every time I think about it, it gives me a bit of PTSD. So then the moment came when we got this invitation to pitch for the Coca-Cola business, where we had the opportunity to pitch for the business. And this one was interesting because prior to this time, we're getting pitch invitations. Obviously, we're doing our cold outreaches, like the proposals I was talking about. But this was different because we're now invited to pitch for, the Coca-Cola business. And of course, what this meant to me was that, we're going to have to do things differently, compared to how we were doing things or how the market was used to doing things. And one of the things that stirred my thought was, when I looked at properties like, the Avengers or Game of Thrones, when I look at these kind of properties, one of the questions I was asking myself was, how are these properties able to hold attention for this long? And as you can imagine, with brands, there's a whole lot of content properties, whether it's a TV commercial, whether it's a social media platforms, whatever it is that they were doing, content was a very integral part of it. And for this particular page, it was a content brief. So one of the questions I was asking myself was that, what if I wanted to hold attention the way these guys do? I firmly believed at the time that if we're able to help brands hold the attention of their audience, in the way these properties, do or did at the time as well, I think it would make a difference by the time we put forward our thought process. What that meant was that there had to be a system, right? The way, Game of Thrones or Avengers are not the only properties you can think of when you think about movies or when you think about cinema, which was a thing for me, right? Like, if I was thinking about how do I hold attention, where do I go for that? It's the cinema, which is why we're looking at how, properties like Avengers or Game of Thrones did that. And I remember for Game of Thrones at the time, it was a season finale, and I remember all of the tension and the anticipation, everything, like almost across the world. It didn't matter where you were, everybody was looking forward to that final season. So what this meant to me was that there had to be a system. There had to be a system for how these properties were able to hold attention for years, for seasons. You wonder how you sit down in front of a season, in front of maybe like a season content, and you binge watch an entire season, maybe like 20 something episodes in one sitting. Like, how are they able to do that? In my mind was that there had to be a system, and we needed to figure that out, because the brief we had from Coca-Cola was a content. So what we did was we then went on to develop what I refer to as content frameworks. Content frameworks, hero content framework, paid media framework. We started to develop, these frameworks that documented the way we thought about these different aspects of digital marketing. And I just felt like this would make a difference, because everybody who came into the room potentially will be coming in with, different content ideas and this and that and all of those stuff. But I felt like, if we showed these people how we thought about these different aspects of digital marketing, it will go a longer way than just sharing ideas. Of course, we had ideas to share as well. Also, in the case of Coca-Cola, was because I had the opportunity to work with Coca-Cola, I think about some years before, and I knew that Coca-Cola was very big on, frameworks and systems and that way of thinking. So it just kind of made sense for us to go this route. What this did for us was that it made what it did for us was that it made in the minds of the clients, in the mind of the clients we went to pitch to them, this kind of positioned us as thought leaders in the space. If we're developing frameworks and methodologies, not just for ourselves, but both the entire market, in terms of how we thought of these things, it went a long way to really position us as leaders in the space. It also showed our unique way of thinking. It wasn't just like a mob thinking or mob psychology in that sense. We also talked about, how we came up with these frameworks in terms of looking at cinema to see how they did it and try to replicate that, in brand marketing and so on. Also because it was also proprietary to our agency. So all of these things sort of interplayed to our advantage. And of course, what then happened afterwards was that we went on to win the Coca-Cola pitch. Afterwards, we were invited for Pernod Ricard pitch. We went on to win that for Nestle. We won that. The La Casera company, we won. There was about 15 brands in 3 months. We won about, like, this across these 4 clients. We had about 15 brands within 3 months, and this really was the this was the moment, like, and this period was a very pivotal period for me, for my career, just to kind of look at what, under my leadership, the agency was able to accomplish, and it was very exciting times. This was how, with all of these brands, we were able to, grow the company. We became profitable. The team's morale was super high. We were creating really amazing, award-winning campaigns, and this just made it, well worth it. It was a lot of hard work for sure, but within the space of 18 months, we had hit a revenue of about $1 million, and profitability, of course. Team spirit was great, and we're doing really, really good work. I think that for anyone who's looking to really build their agency or position their agency as a thought leader within this space, this is kind of how you need to approach it. And by the way, this piece is part of this particular video is part of another fuller video where I talked about the 3 things that clients want to see one from an agency. I think that from my experience and just in terms of all of the clients I've worked with, about 50 brands now across maybe about 12 to 15 verticals over the last 15 plus years, I think that I kind of have an idea of what clients want to see when you go to pitch to them. And so there's a different video for that, depending on when you're watching this. The link will be in the description. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that when I publish that video, you will be notified and you can get to watch it as well. So this really is how we went from 0 to $1 million USD in 18 months, and profitability and great team spirit, and and made for really, really good times. So thank you for checking out this video and for watching up to this point. If remember, again, you can watch this is one part of a fuller video. You can watch the full video. I'll put the link in the description, depending on when you're watching this. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, put your comments in the comment section. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I try the best I can to answer all the questions I find in the comment area. So please make sure you do. Also, depending on when you're watching this, there's also an upcoming webinar where I talk about the new fundamentals of digital marketing for 2025 and beyond. If you're interested in being a part of that, which I think you should be, if you are in the digital marketing space, you should definitely register for that webinar. Also, depending on when you're watching this video, I should have a link to the YouTube live screen, so you can also click the notification bell there, so that once we go live with the webinar, you will be notified and you can also join. So that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you were able to learn 1 or 2 things. Again, feel free to drop your questions in the comments and I'll do the best I can to answer them. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Cheers.